Alright, welcome to our surface area level 2 video, and in this one we're going to specifically focus on finding the surface area, the total surface area of a rectangular prism. So we see our rectangular prism below, and as I discussed in our level 1 video, rectangular prisms are unique in that it doesn't matter for what side you pick to be your base. And whenever given a rectangular prism, if I can, I would always like to shade the very bottom. So let me go ahead and shade that kind of in this UT kind of burnt orange color. Alright. And we're going to discuss the formula for the total surface area. So it's going to be this. S equals, we use a capital P to represent the perimeter of the base, times the height, plus 2 times the area of the base. So if you watch my level 1 video, you know that a capital P stands for perimeter, in this case perimeter of the base, and the capitalized B stands for the area of the base. And let's go ahead and start filling in this formula. So I'm going to write S, my surface area, equals, and for perimeter, I want to kind of make an elongated parentheses, something about that long, because I know that I'm going to have to add 4 numbers. So I look right here, and I see where I shaded my base. I have a side of 6, a side of 10, and wait a second, if this side is 10, then this side must also be 10, and if this side is 6, then this side must also be 6. So my perimeter is simply going to be these numbers going all the way around, and we want to add them. So I'll write 10 plus 6 plus 10 plus 6 times. Now the easy way to tell the height is it will always be this number that is not a part of our shaded base. So for whatever we shade the base, the number that is disjointed from that will be the height. And in this case, that's going to be 8. Plus, now it's important to note that what we actually found here, the perimeter times the height, is what we call the lateral area. And that's the area all around the sides, excluding the bases. And we know it's a prism, so it has 2 bases. So that's why we have a 2 right there, because we're doing 2 times the area of the base. Now, when I look at my base here, I know it's a rectangle, hence why it's a rectangular prism. And so that's going to be the base times the height. So for my rectangular prism, I know that my 2 numbers will be a 6 and a 10. And so I'm going to multiply 10 in parentheses times 6. Okay, times 6. And well, what is 10 times 6? That will give me an area of the base of 60 centimeters squared. Well, I go ahead and I plug in that 60, the area of my base. And now I'm just going to do some simple, I'm actually just going to simplify this right side, funnily enough. So I'll write S equals, and we know that 10 plus 6 is 16, and 16 plus 16 will give us 32 times 8 plus, and I can go ahead and simplify that right there. 2 times 60 gives me 120. Now look right here, and let's see, I know 8 times 30 is 240, 8 times 2 is 16. So I know that my surface area, well, 32 times 8 will be 256 plus 120. And when I add those 2 numbers together, 256 plus 120, I know that that's going to give me 376. And in this case, because our units are centimeters, I'll say 376 centimeters squared. If you need to pause the video in order to write this down, please do so, but I'm going to go ahead and clear this off to move on to our example 2. Alright, for example 2, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to write example 2, and I'm kind of abbreviate the problem by saying just I want you to find the surface area. So we're going to find the surface area of this rectangular prism. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. Oops. And we'll say, hey, we have this rectangular prism, and I can always draw 2 squares or rectangles, doesn't really matter. Let me go ahead and draw this one right here as such. And whenever we're looking at this three-dimensional shape, any side that we could see in real life will always use a solid line to draw, and any side that we could not see will use a dotted line. Let's go ahead and say that this side is 9. In this case, we'll use inches. Right here, we know this is a little bit longer, so let's say 12 inches. And let's go ahead and give it a height of 5 inches. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about our formula. In this case, I'll kind of do the inverse. So let's say our formula for the surface area is equal to the capital P, which stands for the perimeter, plus 2 times capital B, the area of our base. If you'll remember back to example 1 or level 1, a rectangular prism is unique in that it doesn't matter what we choose to be our base. So I always like to use the bottom side. I like to use the bottom side of our rectangular prism. And we know that that's going to give us this side of 12 and this side of 9. So we'll come back over here, we'll write S equals. In place of perimeter, I'll open up my parentheses. And wait a second, if this side right here is 12, well then so must that side. That is also 12. And if this is 9, well then this must be 9 as well. And for perimeter, we know that we want to do 9 plus 12 plus 9 plus 12 times. And here we can say, what is the height? Well, remember, our height is the one number that does not touch the base, and in this case, that would be our 5. And if you'll recall, that is in fact our lateral area. Now, I kind of ran out of room over here to the right, so let me just go ahead and write plus 2. And we know that this capital B stands for the area of the base, and our area is specifically a rectangle, and that's going to be the base times the height, or in this case, our rectangle will equal 9 times 12. Okay, well, what is 9 times 12? That would be 108, in this case, inches squared. And that's the area of our rectangle. So I'll bring that 108 in right there, and let's get to work. So let's say, okay, our surface area is equal to, we'll just kind of draw a line blocking that off. Surface area is equal to 9 plus 12 is 21. So 21 plus 21 would be 42 times, go ahead and write that 5, plus 2 times 108. Now let's go ahead, and we know that when we're simplifying, we can multiply those two, and we can multiply those two. And 42 times 5, let's see, 40 times 5 is 200. 5 times 2 is 10, so we'll say that is 210 plus, and here we have 2 times 108, well, that's going to be 216. So we'll say our surface area is equal to, well, 2 and 2, that's going to give us 400, and 10 plus 16, 426. And don't forget your units, because its area, it will be centimeters squared. I hope this helps, and good luck on these 5 problems.